Hello and welcome. This is Gist Nigeria. Coming up on the program. Domestic violence. We highlight the VAPP Act and how shelters are changing the game for survivors. Also, behind the wheels, female car reviewer breaks gender stereotypes in Nigeria's conservative north. And radical career switch. Former Ghanaian boxing champion turns chicken farmer in the UK. Plus,
my name is Alexandra Algadima. Check me out.
The banker passionate about human management and coaching. It's great to be back with another fresh episode of Gist Nigeria, brought to you by the BBC and Channels Television. Here on the program, we track stories on social media and provide fresh perspectives to them. I'm Wali Fakila. Let's start with our top story. Like many societies, Nigeria has an ugly record of domestic violence. In 2021, the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team, DSVRT, said 10,000 cases were reported. Beyond Lagos, there are many reports across the country, and the situation sadly continues to soar. In this report, Gist Nigeria's Vivian Oguche examines how shelters for victims of sexual and domestic violence are springing up across the country and how they are changing the game for survivors.
They now take me to Kirikiri, female prison. I was there complete 1 year.
Whenever I'm sleeping in the parlor, my stepdad will come to me and then start harassing me sexually.
Silence so loud you could hear a pin drop. It's almost like the quiet before the storm. Then the suppressed, raw emotions burst like a dam, breaking the calm.
No feeding money, no school fees.
A story she describes as harrowing pain and horror.
He beat me so the blood started coming out from my nose. I don't know anywhere to run to. I told my daddy. My daddy said, I should know what I'm inside husband house. That's how they used to do. I said, when this boy carry my dead body, come and give me. We will take it. And I said, God forbid, that is training me.
She has now found comfort at this shelter, one of many survivors of abusive relationships.
Then I was still living with my grandma and then cousins and uncles. So then, that fateful night, a woman came and then they were like, she's my mom and then she's going to be taking me to the city. I don't know who my father is. So, and I've never seen him before. Whenever I'm sleeping in the parlor, my stepdad will come to me and then start harassing me sexually. So he continues doing the same thing, repeating the same thing. And then it was getting to me really hard. And then there was even a time she was like, I should be hit him. Whenever I try coming to me, I should hit him. And this is a mopole. Is a mopole, yes, a policeman.
On Sunday evening or night like that, 4 boys come to our streets. I don't know what they use control me, na charm, because one of them touched my clothes that evening. But I don't know how the thing take do. I don't know how they take juju will be waiting for me. I don't know. If you know it again, I go inside, carry the 4 ATM, give them. As I like they come out now once, different name, once the thing just come out. If you know it, the madam fainted. If you know it again, they call police. They now take me to Kirikiri, female prison. From then, I started attending to courts, and she's not showing up on the courts. I was there complete 1 year. Nobody to help. Only the clinic matters that inside that place, female prison. On 20 of 2022, they now discharged my case and acquitted it.
With the world around them seemingly crumbling, these survivors say the shelter has been a light in their paths.
Because without this place, I don't know where to go.
Now I am here. my dream will come true, and when there is life, there is hope.
Human rights activist Betty Abba runs the all-female shelter.
And so when they come here, besides allowing them to rest, to get counseling, psychosocial support, we also ensure that each of them gets trained in skill. We call it quick skill. Is it soap making? Is it tie and dye? So they must have been empowered to be economically independent to some extent by the time they're living here.
Though domestic and sexual abuse happens to males and females, Betty says all female shelters are more common because women seem more vulnerable and are more likely to seek help. I
lost a nephew to domestic violence, but then comparatively, we have more cases of women and girls.
Army Colonel, he heard about us when we first started about this project HE with Ron. He came here in uniform. I thought we had problems. I said, why are you here? He said, please, madam, I want to talk to you. And I don't want to say it where people are because I'm ashamed to say it. But I'm in trouble. I have problems. I can't sleep at home. I'm always thinking, I'm always worried. I said, what's the problem? Say, my wife. Said that even as this now, the woman had driven him out of the barracks.
Experts say one of the primary causes of domestic violence is the lack of non-violent social problem-solving skills in relationships. Also fueling the problem are harmful cultural practices like widows being forced to shave off their hair following their husband's deaths in some Nigerian cultures and the prevalence of female genital mutilation in some parts of the country.
On Sunday, inside raid with her sister, my mother-in-law clothes is dropping water. Inside rain, she came to my house that she wanted to come and throw my clothes outside.
A friend of mine was meant to, had to run away from her house because her husband died and they wanted to shave her hair. She refused.
These cultural practices are archaic. They are demonic. It doesn't help anybody.
Titilola Viva Adeni leads the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. She says consistent awareness is essential to winning the war against domestic and sexual violence.
This year we launched our It's On Us campaign. We were going to all the local governments. We've been to 16 out of 20, engaging the people in the community, letting them know that these are crimes. And crimes are committed against the state, and it's the state that has the power to determine whether or not a case goes to court.
We're working with Ministry of Justice and NAPDIP, police and civil defense as well, to ensure that all perpetrators that goes through trial and are sentenced, we publish their names, their pictures, so that people will actually be aware.
Just last week, one of the suspects that you have been prosecuting in court since 2018 was sentenced to life imprisonment.
Over the last 10 years, there's been a spike in the number of reported domestic violence incidents across Nigeria. This has increased awareness, leading to stronger calls for protection of persons against the different forms of intimate partner violence. One of the results of this activism was the passage of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition VAPP Act. The VAPP Act is an improvement on Nigeria's penal and criminal code in relation to violence, and also makes provisions for compensation to victims as well as the protection of their rights. It was passed by Nigeria's House of Representatives and Senate in 2013 and 2015 respectively. Under the VAPP Act, rape, spousal battery, forceful ejection from home, forced financial dependence or economic abuse, harmful widowhood practices, female circumcision or genital mutilation, abandonment of children, among others, are punishable offenses. However, the adoption of this act is optional for state governments.
Why say states is optional for them? No, it should be compulsory. It should be mandatory.
Each state is allowed to adopt the law according to their own peculiarity. The state doesn't have to adopt it, stricto sensu, because you have peculiarity in states.
On the flip side, Stakeholders say the creation and recognition of shelters as well as foundations that care for survivors is a huge plus.
Now I feel very secured. I feel relaxed. Skill acquisition and all of those stuff. I feel very happy.
While it seems the road to ridding Nigeria of domestic and sexual violence is a long and hard one, structures like these are symbols of hope for survivors. It's a second chance that gives them the audacity to dream again. Vivian Oguche, Gist Nigeria.
Sexual and domestic violence has no place in the society.